Have you ever seen a toddler sitting quietly on a train? Not screaming, not running around, not fighting to escape their parents' hand. Just sitting there, calmly, and wondered, how did their parents teach that? For many parents, this feels almost impossible. Because in real life, public places can become the hardest part of parenting. A store can turn into a battlefield. A train ride can become a test of patience. A restaurant can feel like a stage where everyone is watching. And when a toddler starts crying in public, the parent does not only hear the crying, they feel the eyes. They feel the pressure. They feel the silent judgment. And in that moment, many parents think, what am I doing wrong? But here is the first important truth. If your child struggles in public, it does not mean you are a bad parent. And it does not mean your child is bad. It may simply mean the lesson started too late. Because one of the most useful lessons we can learn from Japanese parenting is this: public calmness is often not created in public. It is prepared before the child ever leaves home. Now, this does not mean every Japanese family is the same. It does not mean Japanese children never cry. And it does not mean Japanese parenting is perfect. Children in Japan are still children. They get tired. They get hungry. They become upset. They have big emotions, just like children everywhere. But in many Japanese families and early childhood environments, calm public behavior is often supported by something deeper. Routine, repeated guidance, emotional closeness, small responsibility, and awareness of shared spaces. This is why the question is not, why are Japanese toddlers perfect? The better question is, what happens before the public moment? Because when a child melts down in public, the problem often did not begin in that store, that train, or that restaurant. It may have begun before the child even put on their shoes. Maybe the child did not know where they were going. Maybe they did not know how long they would be there. Maybe they did not understand what was expected. Maybe they were already tired or overstimulated. Maybe the parent waited until the child was already overwhelmed before explaining the rule. And by then, even a simple instruction can feel too heavy for a toddler. To adults, a store is just a store. A train is just a train. A sidewalk is just a sidewalk. But to a toddler, public places are full of noise, movement, lights, strangers, smells, waiting, rules, and limits. At home, the child can move freely. Outside, suddenly they have to slow down. They have to stay close. They have to use a quiet voice. They have to wait. They have to hold hands. They have to accept not now. That is a lot for a small child. So if the first time a toddler hears the rule is when they are already overwhelmed, the rule may not feel like guidance. It may feel like pressure. This is why preparation matters. In many Japanese homes, children are often guided through small routines again and again. Not perfectly, not in every family, not every day, but often enough that the child begins to understand what comes next. Before going outside, the parent may prepare the child with simple steps. Put on your shoes. Take your small bag. Use the bathroom. Hold my hand. We are going to the store. We will buy food. Then we will come home. To an adult, this may sound almost too simple, but to a toddler, simple is powerful. A routine tells the child, I know what is happening. I know what comes next. I know what my role is. And when a child knows what comes next, the world feels less confusing. Less confusion does not guarantee perfect behavior, but it can lower stress. And when stress is lower, guidance becomes easier. This connects to a Japanese parenting concept called shitsuke. Shitsuke is often discussed as teaching manners, social behavior, and habit formation through repeated guidance. It is not only punishment. It is not only stopping bad behavior. A useful way to understand shitsuke is this. The child is not just corrected. The child is trained gently through repeated everyday habits. That difference matters, because calm public behavior is not taught in one dramatic moment. It is not one lecture. It is not one angry warning. It is not one embarrassed correction in the middle of a store. It is built through small practice, again and again. A child learns to wait by practicing waiting. A child learns to use a soft voice by hearing soft voices. A child learns to hold hands by practicing before the busy street. A child learns to clean up by putting one toy away. A child learns responsibility by being trusted with one small job. So the first lesson is simple. Routine is stronger than reaction. Many parents react after the child loses control, but routine prepares the child before control is lost. Think about the difference. If a parent says, "Be quiet," after the child is already crying, the child hears pressure. But if the parent says before entering the train, "We will sit close, we will use soft voices, then we will get off together," the child has a map. And toddlers need maps, not paper maps, emotional maps. They need to know, where are we going? What will happen? What do I do? What happens next? When those answers become familiar, public behavior becomes easier to guide. But routine is only one part. The second lesson is this. A calm parent becomes the child's anchor. A toddler does not only listen to words. A toddler reads the parent's face, the parent's shoulders, the parent's voice, the parent's speed, the parent's stress. If the adult becomes tense, rushed, loud, and embarrassed, the child feels it. If the adult becomes steady, soft, and clear, the child feels that too. This does not mean parents must be calm every second. No parent can do that. Every parent gets tired. Every parent has hard days. But in a difficult public moment, the child often needs the adult to become the steady place. If the child is a storm, the parent cannot become another storm. The parent becomes the anchor. This is why, in many gentle parenting moments, fewer words can be more powerful. A child may not need a long speech. They may need one calm sentence. Come close. Hold my hand. Soft voice. I am here. The tone matters. The body language matters. The face matters. A child who feels publicly shamed may become more overwhelmed, but a child who feels guided may become more ready to listen. This brings us to another Japanese concept often discussed in parenting, ame. Ame is connected with emotional closeness, comfort, and the child's need to feel secure in the parent-child relationship. One useful lesson from ame is not that closeness replaces discipline. It is that closeness can support discipline. In many moments, connection comes before correction. Imagine a toddler crying in a shop. One parent says, "Stop crying, everyone is looking at you." Another parent kneels down and says, "I know you are upset. I am here. We still need a soft voice." Both parents want the child to calm down, but the second parent gives safety before correction. The message becomes, "You are not bad. You are overwhelmed, and I will guide you." That difference can change the whole emotional moment, because a child who feels safe may be more ready to learn. Not always, not perfectly, but more often than a child who feels ashamed. The goal is not to spoil the child. The goal is to bring the child back to a place where guidance is possible. A dysregulated toddler cannot absorb a lesson well, but a connected toddler may be able to hear one simple boundary. I understand. And the answer is still no. I am here. and we still use gentle hands. This is warm, but it is not weak. It is connection with a boundary, and that is one reason it can be so powerful. The third lesson is, public behavior is taught as awareness of others. In many Japanese social settings, children gradually learn that public spaces are shared spaces. A train is not only where I sit, it is where other people are resting, traveling, or going to work. A store is not only where I want things, it is where other people are shopping too. A classroom is not only where I learn, it is a place everyone takes care of together. This idea is often connected to the value of not causing trouble or inconvenience for others. For toddlers, this cannot be taught with shame. It has to be taught simply. People are resting here, so we use soft voices. This is a shared place, so we walk carefully. We put this back because someone else will use it too. At first, a toddler may not fully understand, but repeated messages become familiar, and slowly, the child begins to notice something beyond their own desire. This is a big parenting shift, because public behavior is not only about obedience, it is also about awareness. The child is not just learning, do what I say. The child is learning, my actions affect other people. That idea is powerful. And it can begin with small habits, holding a parent's hand, waiting for a turn, using a soft voice, putting something back, walking instead of running, helping clean up. These are small actions, but they teach a child how to live around others. The fourth lesson is, responsibility begins small. When people talk about Japanese children, they often mention school cleaning routines. In many Japanese schools, children help clean classrooms and shared spaces. This is not only about cleanliness, it can also teach responsibility. The child learns, this space belongs to us. We care for what we use. We are part of a group. Now, a toddler is not an elementary school student. No one should expect a 2-year-old to clean a classroom. But the principle can start early. Give the child one small role. Not a huge responsibility, not something stressful. Just one tiny job. You can carry this small bag. You can put this toy in the basket. You can hold the shopping list. You can place your shoes here. You can help put the apple in the cart. When a child has a role, the child often feels more capable. And when a child feels capable, they may feel less powerless. Sometimes toddlers melt down because they feel dragged through adult decisions. They do not know where they are going. They do not know why. They have no role. They have no control. But one small responsibility can change the emotional tone. The child is no longer just being controlled. The child is included. The child is no longer only hearing what not to do. The child has something useful to do. Small jobs give energy a direction. They turn chaos into participation. They help the child practice self-control without feeling crushed by control. The fifth lesson is, practice before pressure. Many parents expect toddlers to behave calmly in the hardest environment without practicing in the easiest one. They expect a child to wait quietly in a crowded restaurant, but the child has not practiced waiting at home. They expect a child to use a soft voice on a train, but the child has not practiced soft voice during play. They expect a child to hold hands in a busy street, but the child has not practiced holding hands in a calm hallway. That is a difficult expectation for a small child. Skills need practice. Calmness is a skill. Waiting is a skill. Listening is a skill. Walking slowly is a skill. Using a quiet voice is a skill. And skills are easier to practice before pressure arrives. So if you want your toddler to wait in public, practice waiting at home. Make it playful. Let's wait for 5 seconds. Then, praise the exact habit. You waited patiently. If you want your toddler to hold your hand outside, practice near the door. Show me how we hold hands before we go. Then name the behavior. You held my hand carefully. If you want your toddler to speak softly in a quiet place, practice a soft voice at home. Can you use your train voice? Then praise it. That was a soft voice. The lesson is simple. Do not introduce the skill for the first time in the most stressful place. Practice before pressure. The 6th lesson is correct quietly when possible. Public shame can make a child feel more overwhelmed. When a parent feels embarrassed, it is natural to want the behavior to stop immediately. But loud correction can sometimes make the child feel attacked. And when a toddler feels attacked, they may cry harder, run away, freeze, scream, or fight back. Quiet correction does not mean permissive parenting. It means the parent still guides the behavior, but in a way the child can receive. Instead of, "Stop it right now, you are embarrassing me," try, "Come close. We use gentle hands here." Instead of, "Why are you acting like this?" try, "I see you are upset. We are still going to use a soft voice." Instead of, "If you cry, we are leaving," try, "Let's take a small break. Then we will try again." The words are simple. The voice is calm. The boundary still exists, but the child is not humiliated. This matters because the goal is not to win a public power struggle. The goal is to teach the child how to return to calm. The 7th lesson is, praise the habit, not just the child. Many parents say, "Good job," and that is not wrong. But if you want a child to repeat a specific behavior, name the behavior. You waited patiently. You held my hand. You used a soft voice. You stayed close. You put the toy back. You helped carry the bag. This teaches the child, this is the behavior that matters. Young children need clear language, not just approval. They need to know exactly what they did well. When you praise the habit, you make the invisible skill visible. A toddler may not understand "be good," but they can understand wait. Hold hands. Soft voice. Stay close. Help clean. The clearer the behavior, the easier it is to practice again. Now, let's turn these lessons into a simple routine parents around the world can use. You do not need to live in Japan. You do not need to copy another culture perfectly. And you do not need to become a perfect parent. You can simply borrow useful principles and adapt them to your own child. Before going into a public place, try this 5-step routine. Step 1. Prepare before leaving. Before you open the door, tell your child what will happen. We are going to the store. We will buy food. You will hold my hand. Then we will come home. Keep it short, keep it clear. Repeat it calmly. Toddlers do not need long explanations. They need simple maps. Step 2. Give one public rule. Not 5 rules, not 10 warnings. One rule. In the store, we use a soft voice. On the train, we stay close. In the parking lot, we hold hands. One rule is easier for a toddler to remember. Step 3. Give one tiny responsibility. You can hold the list. You can carry your small bag. You can put one item in the basket. You can press the elevator button. A tiny job gives the child a role, and a role gives the child focus. Step 4. Connect before correcting. If the child becomes upset, do not begin with shame. Begin with connection. I know you want that. I see you are upset. I am here. Then guide. We are not buying that today. We still need gentle hands. We will take a small break. Connection does not remove the boundary. It makes the boundary easier to hear. Step 5. Praise the exact habit. When your child does something right, name it. You waited patiently. You stayed close. You used a soft voice. You helped me. This helps the child understand what to repeat next time. Will this stop every tantrum? No. No routine can do that. Toddlers are still toddlers. They will still cry. They will still get tired. They will still have days when everything feels too much. But over time, these small habits can make public moments easier. Not perfect. Easier. And sometimes easier is exactly what a parent needs. Because the goal is not to raise a silent child. The goal is not to create a child who never cries. The goal is to raise a child who feels safe enough to learn. A child who knows what comes next. A child who has practiced small habits. A child who is learning that other people share the world with them. A child who feels connected before they are corrected. A child who is not controlled every second, but guided toward becoming capable. That may be one of the most beautiful parenting lessons we can take from Japanese culture. Calmness is not created in one public moment. It is built in small, private moments. The shoes by the door. The gentle reminder before the train. The tiny bag in the child's hand. The parent kneeling instead of shouting. The quiet words, I'm here. The gentle boundary, we still need a soft voice. The specific praise, you waited patiently. These moments may look small, but childhood is built from small moments. And public calmness is often just the visible result of invisible practice. So the next time your child struggles in public, remember this. You are not failing. Your child is not bad. Maybe the lesson simply needs to begin earlier. Before the store. Before the train. Before the restaurant. Before the meltdown. Before the public moment. Because calm children are not shaped by fear. They are shaped by safety, by routine, by connection, by responsibility, by guidance, and by small habits repeated with love. If you want more gentle Japanese parenting lessons for modern parents, subscribe for the next video.